Did you like the SNL process? Or did you still feel under the gun?
I was probably too ignorant to know any better, too naive, but yeah, I did. I kind of found I thought it was great. It was a perfect place for it's like those classes of the Groundlings where they would set an egg timer for 2 minutes and you have to write a sketch, and those skills came into play in that kind of atmosphere and environment. So I could run off and write something on my own, and then I was fortunate that the writers started writing for me a bunch, and so the whole thing just kind of kept snowballing. And but I never felt I think it really, the first 3 seasons things were pretty. It was fun the whole time I was there, but the first 3 seasons everything worked really well, and then people started having egos and that sort of thing. But even then, it wasn't bad.
How long into it did you feel comfortable? Like you're like, I'm going to stick around here. I don't have a fear of getting fired.
It was, I think, the first show first season was, I think it was 9. You were only guaranteed 9 shows, and then they were supposed to pick you up for the rest of the season. Yeah. But then they totally broke the contract and said, nope, you just have 6 more shows. Ugh. 6 shows. And if you make it through the 6th, then you're picked up for the rest of the season. So you were on eggshells like that whole year. But then by the second I think by the end of that second season, it felt like, there was a firm footing. Yeah.
Which is, it's such an interesting setup
but I don't think I was like truly not ever nervous until about like year 5.
Oh wow.
Oh really?
And then it was like,
yeah,
I don't care what happens. But I heard Dana Carvey once said it like takes you 5 seasons to not feel nervous, and I kind of agree. Like there would still be moments where I'm like, why am I nervous? And it would just hit you, and then. But I think around that 5th year, a good combination of knowing it really well and starting to not care.
Yeah.
And probably also that there's younger people coming in, newer people, so you're like, oh, you now know the difference.
And you don't, if you have a light show, it doesn't matter because the next show you'll probably be in it. And Kevin Nealon actually gave me great advice he was like, don't worry, don't live from show to show. Just look back. If you can look back at the end of the year and count on your hand 8 or 10 things that you did really well, you had a great year. And just look at it that way. And he's like,
don't be so immediate about it.
Exactly. And he's also said, and you're tall. Tall people do well. Tall guys do well on the show.
What was that last
thing?
All right. But Anna said that you had this ability to, you would go up if you did a sketch and it didn't fly.
Yeah.
It just didn't really seem to phase you. Come off stage and you go, well, that sure stunk up the joint. And like you just had a great attitude about it.
I would just, I don't know. It's funny, Zach and I talk about, that's what's fun about doing all this press with Zach for this movie is that he and I have this shared kind of, I don't know what it is, almost this masochistic thing of like when it goes terrible.
Just as good.
God, that was fantastic.
Is that
not one person laughed?
Yeah.
There wasn't even a cough. Yeah. It was just silence out
Scowls. There. Nothing but scowls and indifference.
Do you think then as a performer you just like to have any kind of experience, whether it's just some kind of special experience? Oh, they laughed a lot, or not, or it's like none of your numbers in Keno came up, and you're like, wow, that's really cool.
I don't know what that is. I think it's almost like this thing of. Okay, if you're not going to laugh, I just remember when sketches wouldn't go well, the knee jerk is usually to speed up and get through it and get off stage. I would actually slow way down.
Oh wow!
And I would like slow the pace way down and take extra long pauses just because I was like, okay, if you people hate it this much, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to make you sit through.
Those were I've laughed the hardest in some of those late in the show
I'm just
sketches.
Gonna fine. If you're not going to laugh, you're not going to get off. Get out of here sooner.
But was there?
I don't know what that. I don't know if that's. Sometimes it's because you think something's really funny and you're like, hey, you're just not getting it. But
that's just being confident.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you had cool parents and you just grew up kind of a confident kid, and you're like, hey, fuck you. You know what? I will entertain myself if you are not going to be entertained.